Hey everyone, Combo here, back with another Empires and Puzzles video, and today I'm going to do a roster update with you guys. I'm going to show you my entire roster, one color at a time. I'm going to show you in detail my favorite 3 heroes of each color, and I'm also going to show you who I'm currently working on of each color. I've never done a video like this before, so let me know if you guys like seeing this type of content. I know a lot of you watch my war hits, so I thought it might be helpful for you guys to see what I'm working with for my entire roster. But definitely let me know if you guys like seeing this type of videos. If you do, I probably will do this type of video every 3 or 4 months or so. Give it some time for my roster to change over a little bit. I usually max maybe about 2 or 3 5-star heroes per month. So after 3 or 4 months, I might have about 10 new heroes max. So I feel like by then it may be worth it to do an update. But like I said, let me know if you like to see these types of videos. If not, this will be the only one. Real quick though, if you do enjoy this video or find it helpful, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you can see my future videos. And here we've got my dark purple heroes. I have 2 heroes above 1400, with them being double limit broken with Costume Diachan and Von Rothbart. I've got 5 heroes in that 12 to 1300 range, and then a couple more in that 1000 to 1200 range. At this point right now, usually the top 5 above see every war, along with Obakan, Darkfeather, Acidfire, and Pharah. Bera does not see every war. It really all depends on who I'm going up against and if her minion prevention is going to work against the teams that I'm going against. As far as my 3 favorite dark heroes though, first I have to start off with Darkfeather. I know he's like number 7 from an individual power perspective, but he is definitely the most fun that I have on my team from a purple perspective, in my opinion. First, he's going to recover 25% health, and then he's going to give growth. All allies get plus 180 attack and defense, and then this is the most fun part about his special. All allies have a 50% chance to deal 270% damage to a random enemy after any subsequent allied special skill is cast for 3 turns. So I usually try to time that and pair him with 2 other average speed dark heroes. That way their specials go off at the same time. So I might put him with Costume Hell. I might put him with Von Rothbart. I might put him with Domitia. Those are probably the most common ones that I would put him with. He's also very useful for Titans because of that extra damage. The growth effect definitely adds up once you start using him 2 or 3 times. That's a big factor also. Him being a druid class is definitely very helpful because he gets those thorn minions. It is kind of crazy to think about the fact that goblins have gotten that much outdated, where I've got a double limit broken with master class emblems goblin at an individual power of 1256, and then you look at Costume Diachan, who is individual power of 1459, and we've got heroes now in the game that can get up to 1500, which is insane when you think about that power creep. As far as my other 2 favorite dark heroes, I gotta go with Von Rothbart here at number 2. First, he deals 550% damage to the target. The target dances to the Ballad of Pain for 4 turns. The dance spreads to nearby enemies. They get silenced, and then at the end of the dance, they will get 1700 damage. He is a very useful hero. If you have him, you want to make sure that you do not use that special against monks, against clerics, or against toons, because they will have a high chance to resist that dancing effect because of the silence. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you're going up against Von Rothbart, then you would want to use toons or clerics or monks to try to resist that dancing effect from when he casts that. Also worth noting that the Construct Core family that has the passive for cannot be silenced, that works extremely well against Von Rothbart also. And again, something you want to make sure you do not cast against when you're going against a team. So Nautica or Gwyn or Shacklebolt or any of those other Construct Core family members that resist silencing, you cannot use Von Rothbart against them. So keep that in mind when you are using him. And for my 3rd favorite hero out of my dark heroes, I know he's listed here at number 8, but honestly, I've got Acidfire. I probably will double limit break him eventually, but I don't really use him on defense. I really only use him on offense, and with the matching legendary troop, he gets beefed up, so he lasts a lot longer, but he's going to deal 355% damage to the target and nearby enemies. He's going to give a wither effect where the target and nearby enemies get minus 225 attack and 225 defense, and the target and nearby enemies reflect status effect buffs to a random character on the opposing team for 3 turns. The wither effect is extremely useful for going up against costume Diachan tank teams or any other passive teams that have a lot of healing or a lot of minions or mega minions or anything like that. That's usually how I like to use Acid Fire, or against Mina because of the flying discs that Mina casts on his allies. It's going to make it so those reflect back to you and you'll be able to cast those flying discs. So he's a very fun hero. As far as any 4 stars that I have, I've got Rigard, Cyprian, Sharkai. I did take the emblems off Cyprian recently because I just maxed Fungustine over the last month or so and I needed those Paladin emblems for him. And I don't really use him too much except in 4-star raid tournaments. Sharkai, obviously I use on Titans all the time. For 3 stars, I've got Treeville, Double Limit Broken, and Bjorn in his costume. Those are the only ones that I actually have Double Limit Broken. And for the Dark Hero that I'm currently working on, I've got Medea and her costume. She resists Insanity, and I'm trying to build up my resist Insanity heroes for when we get back to that Insanity or Ancient Terror War or whatever they call it. She seems like a very fun hero to use and a hard hitter with the Shifting Mindless attack also. So definitely excited to get her maxed and to be able to get her on the team. I'm hoping to have her ready by the next Insanity War so I can have her on my defense actually. So we'll have to wait and see, but I think that's about 5 weeks away. So I should be able to get her done by then. All right, let's move on to my holy heroes. I've definitely got some great holy heroes highlighted by Rosalind, who I actually just finished putting masterclass emblems on. She has been a lot of fun to use and I'm sure annoying to go up against when I have her on defense. She is definitely a strong defensive hero. She is one of my favorites, but I don't think I would put her in the top 3 favorite yellows for me. My favorite yellow, honestly, is probably going to be Thura. She is fast mana speed, deals 355% damage to the target and nearby enemies. The more health the enemy has, the more damage they will receive, up to 435%. The caster and nearby allies bypass defensive buffs with their attacks for 3 turns, which includes counterattacks, and the caster and nearby allies special skills deal an additional plus 80% damage for 3 turns. I really like pairing her with Shimmer Scale, who is another fast speed attack 3 hitter. The combination of them two together definitely does a lot of damage. I only use her on offense though, and I typically only double limit break somebody if they are going to be on defense or if there's a specific need to double limit break them or if I have extra materials, but I try to only double limit break heroes that are potentially going to be on my defense. I just don't have enough alpha ethers to be able to double limit break everybody. I don't buy alpha ethers, but we are getting them more frequently, so maybe I'll be able to double limit break more of my heroes. Shimmer Scale is gonna be another one that I really like to have though, and in my top 3 yellows that I have, in my opinion, he deals 300% damage to the target and nearby enemies, summons a Sword Guard Mega Minion with 35% health and 300% attack inherited from the caster. The target hit by the Sword Guard Mega Minion receives 603 bleed damage over 3 turns, and this effect spreads to nearby enemies. He of course has the passives of resisting mana reduction, which is extremely helpful against heroes like Hrothgar or Fergus. Anybody that decreases mana, those Garrison Guard family members that have this passive will not suffer the effects of that, which is very helpful. And then of course he has the Guard Rally, where every 4 turns he's going to remove all wither effects from all allies. So definitely a very useful and very fun hero to have. And then for my 3rd favorite yellow, honestly, I gotta go Costume Cleopatra. In my opinion, she's the best healer in the game. She's gonna heal 60% health for all allies, and all allies are going to be immune to new status ailments for 3 turns, and will recover 360 health for each attempted status ailment. And then of course the season 5 heroes, most of them have that 100% passive where the effects on special skill will automatically happen each time. And her effects on special skill, which would normally be 60% chance, but it's going to be 100% chance because of the season 5 costume. She's going to boost health of all allies by 10%. Boosted health can exceed max HP, and she's going to cleanse the latest cleansable status ailment from all allies. So definitely a great healer, very strong. You can see I've got her at 1599 shield and 2877 health. Her ether power is special armor. She's just a great healer. Definitely have some great other yellows with Shawl and Iga. Iga's a lot of fun to use too, and I need to get him double limit broken so that his fiends get higher health. I just don't have the materials to do so right now. He's probably going to be the next one that will get limit broken and then double limit broken. Actually, do I have enough right now? No, I need more yellow 5-star ethers in order to limit break any of my yellows. I believe the yellow ether quest comes around in about 5 or 6 weeks. So when that comes, Iga's probably going to get those bats. I've got 2 in Leonidas, and then of course this costume that has the elemental defense down. I've got Vivica. I've got Guardian Elephant, Iron Maw. I've definitely got some really good yellows. And of course, Zhuge Liang, I didn't mention him either. As far as some epic yellow heroes, I've got Goldie, I've got Waddles, Gullenbursty, and then I've got a lot of 3-star yellows. Also, I've got Jolly, Felton, Cavassier, Bogart for another epic hero, Recateri, Sally, Bertolf, and then the one that I'm working on currently, it was Costume Guardian Gazelle, but I just picked up Sludges in the last Covenant portal, so I am working on leveling up Sludges. Very excited to get them on the team so that my heroes can dance to the dance of the slimy. All right, let's move on to our ice heroes. So I've got a couple really good ice heroes, but after my top 3, I feel like they kind of tail off and I need to get them limit broken or double limit broken in order to beef them up a little bit. But I've got Toon Magni, Grimsteel, and Nautica. Grimsteel is definitely my #1 favorite here out of my blues because of that attack growth. He is slow mana speed, but he gives all allies that 450 attack growth along with 450 defense. Once he goes off a couple times, it is extremely hard for enemies to do damage against you because of that defense growth. He's also a very strong healer, giving 54% health for all allies, and he gives all allies plus 30% mana generation for 4 turns, so that is definitely very helpful also. I typically will actually pair him with Nautica, believe it or not. I know it might sound crazy to put 2 healers of the same color, but because of Nautica instantly giving that extra mana for his nearby allies, I will put Grimsteel next to Nautica, basically so that Grimsteel turns into an average speed hero. But Nautica is a great hero. He's going to recover 45% health for all allies, increases the mana of nearby allies by 33%. That's what I was just talking about. And then he gives nearby allies plus 40% mana generation for 4 turns. The caster and nearby allies also get plus 50% critical chance for 4 turns. He's got that ether power of being dodge. And then I was talking about this earlier where he has a passive of resisting special skill blocking. This character has innate resistance against status ailments that block special skills. This includes the Von Rothbard effect where you get silenced. That cannot work on Nautica or any of the other Construct Core family members that have that passive, which I think all of them do, or at least many of the newer ones. This was a recently added passive that was given as a buff to the Construct Core family. And then he does also, of course, have that Repair Core. The Repair Core activates each time this character's special skill is cast. With the fully charged core, he will boost the health of all allies by 25%, and that happens after the normal heal. So he's going to recover 45% health for everybody, and then potentially boost 25% health of everybody on top of that. So he is a extremely good healer when you combined the regular health, the boosted health, the instant mana he's going to give to everybody, the plus 40% mana generation he's going to give to nearby allies. Great hero. And my third favorite blue hero, I'd love to say Costume Perseus because I love him, but it's got to be Costume Lord Loki. Without a doubt, probably the most fun hero in the game, in my opinion, especially if you're going up against heroes like Bernadette or Von Rothbard or Sludges. And as we continue to get new heroes that have these crazy unique specials, Costume Lord Loki is going to be even more fun to use, and he's always going to be relevant because of the fact that he can copy anybody's special. I do hope that they do not start putting out heroes that have the clause of this special cannot be copied, because that would be a little bit of a damper of the usefulness of Lord Loki. But like I said, he is always going to be relevant because of that. He's another hero I'm considering double limit breaking just so that I can have some extra beef on him. I did add masterclass emblems because he is originally a wizard and I had a lot of wizard masterclass emblems, so I decided to use them on Lord Loki because I use them all the time. not just for wars in my top 30 heroes that I use in wars, but also in just regular raiding. He's a very, very useful hero, especially against Bearded Dead. Some of the other ice heroes that I didn't mention already, I've got Starwalker, Poffit, Furman Richard, Costume Athena, Cell. Those are all great, useful heroes. Some of the epic heroes that I've got Costume Asmia, I've got Greg, I've got Toon Grim, Bone Chill, Kirill, and then I've got quite a few rare heroes, Double Limit Broken also, Swan Maiden, extremely useful, Costume Gunner I use for events all the time, I've got Dawn, I've got Yao, Nordri, and then the ice hero that I'm working on that you can see here, I've got Richard with all 4 costumes. I'm almost done leveling his base version, then I can move to his costumes. I've got the Toon version, and then I've also got this class costume that I just pulled in the costume event last week, so definitely excited to get him maxed. Hopefully should have him done within the next week or so. Definitely excited to get him done. All right, moving on to our nature heroes. I have definitely upgraded my nature heroes over the last couple months with Fungustine and Starlass. Both really great heroes to use. I've had Mina for quite some time, and then the rest of the nature heroes you can see here. As far as my 3 favorite nature heroes, it's hard not to start off with Mina. He is annoying to go up against, but he's also very useful to use on offense. He is fast mana speed, deals 390% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. And then at the end of each turn, the caster and nearby allies shoot a fluff volley at a random enemy for 3 turns. Each fluff volley deals 150% damage. Each fluff volley also reduces the mana of the hit enemy by 5%. He also has the Gargoyle's soft skin, so after his special goes off, he will be able to receive damage by minus 90%, and he has the ability to resist insanity during those insanity wars, or if you're going up against any of those heroes that deal insanity, then the soft skin will prevent that also, which is extremely helpful. Definitely a very fun hero to have. And then I know healers aren't sexy, but Fungustine is a very useful hero to have. He boosts health of all allies by 1,000. I'm pretty sure that is the highest boosted health of any healer in the game right now. I might be wrong, but he's also going to give all allies Sticky Service for 4 turns. The Sticky Service steals 1 random dispellable buff or growth effect from an attacking character. All allies get plus 25% defense for 4 turns, and all allies are immune to buff dispels and reallocations for 4 turns. He also has the passive where if you attack him for more than 25%, then he's going to summon a Mega Minion for himself with 50% attack and 40% attack inherited from the caster. And then he has the Slime Minion upon defeat. If he does get killed, then his nearby allies get that same Slime Mega Minion with 50% health and 40% attack. Hopefully he doesn't die, but if he does, then he's going to boost the allies with that Mega Minion, which is extremely helpful, but he's a great hero, a great healer. On my recent top 10 nature heroes, I listed him at number 4. I think he was the second best healer that I rated. I think Ott was the only one that I put above him, but Fungustine is a great hero. And then for my 3rd favorite green, I'm actually going to say Smart Tongue. Smart Tongue is extremely useful because of the Wither effect with the minus 350 attack and then reducing the max health of all enemies by 700. And she makes it so that all enemies get minus 45% defense against special skills for 4 turns. So very, very useful hero. You do want to make sure that you don't use a hero like Smart Tongue against any of the Garrison Guard heroes that have the Guard Rally, where the Wither effects get wiped every 4 turns. I actually just recently made that mistake in the last Undead Horde War. I actually didn't realize it until I was watching my battles afterwards and I saw the mistake and I was like, oh, that's why the Wither attack did not work throughout the battle. So learn from my mistakes. Do not use Smart Tongue against any Garrison Guard family members that have that Guard Rally, which removes Wither effects. But still, like I said, very, very fun hero to use. Other than those 3, I've got Starlass, of course, who's great for mana control. Relius is another great healer and reviver. I've got Leaf Whisk, I've got Teddy, Evelyn for the elemental defense down, Sport Toy, Toon Melindor. Bonzo is waiting on Ascension items, although I do have somebody I'm working on above him right now. I've got Galapago. I pulled him recently in the Untold Tales event when I pulled Medea, and I really, really want more heroes that resist insanity, and all of these Untold Tales 1 costumes resist insanity, and Galapagos is just a really, really good hero. Bonzo is great too. Bonzo actually made my top 10 for top 10 nature heroes. Galapagos didn't, but personally, Galapagos is going to help me more because of that resist insanity passive that he has. So he is who I'm working on right now. For other heroes that I've got a few epic heroes double limit broken. I've got Godiris, who I don't really use that much anymore. I've got Franz, I've Almer, I've got Kalo, and then for some 3 stars, I've got Toon Belith, Brienne, Alessia, Zarola, Fayez, Zarel, Fianna. Definitely quite a few epic and rare level nature heroes. All right, let's move on to our last category, our fire heroes. All right, so I've got some really good fire heroes, obviously, starting off with costume Gestalt. I've got costume Yukonin, Pepperflame, Lodius, Marjana with the Toon costume, but I use the elemental defense down version the most. I've got Damon, Madhammer, Hammerclang, another Pepperflame that is just max but not limit broken, Blossom, Ignazio. So definitely a lot of good fire heroes here, obviously. Definitely a couple I want to limit break. Blossom's probably going to be the next one, or Hammerclang. They're the most useful ones for me right now that I haven't already limit broken. As far as my 3 favorite reds to use, I have to start off with Pepperflame here. Fast mana speed, deals 450% damage to the target and minor to the nearby enemies, but it's the attack growth that she gives to herself and nearby allies. Gives 250 attack growth every time she casts her special. Then she's got that effect where the target and nearby enemies get minus 30% defense for 3 turns. If the effect is removed before the duration ends, the target with the effect suffers 856 damage. So she's extremely useful in Equalizer Wars. I use her for events all the time because of that attack growth. Very useful there. Great for Titans. Just great in regular wars or raids. She's a hard hitter, and that attack growth makes it even more. Gestalt is probably my next favorite. I've been using his wizard costume on offense, and on defense I've been using the cleric version so that he can potentially resist any negative mana effects. But his costume is a harder hitter in my opinion. He has the Changing Tides at mana speed, where his first charge is going to deal 275% damage to 3 random enemies. Hit enemies become afflicted with the Underwater Magma Cube. While afflicted by the Magma Cube, the owner gets minus 34% defense, and the Mana Cube explodes in 3 turns, dealing 300% damage to their owner. If the Magma Cube is cleansed, the owner gets minus 34% mana generation for 3 turns. And then the second charge is where it's at. Deals 375% damage to 5 random enemies, and some of those will be the same enemies. So they're going to get potentially 750% damage if they get hit by 2 of those cubes. They're also going to get the Underwater Magma Cubes and get minus 44% defense and then 450 damage after the Magma Cube ends, and would get minus 54% mana generation for 4 turns if the Magma Cube is cleansed. Great hero, also has the Resist Insanity with the costume bonus from the Untold Tales, so definitely very useful there. Just a great hero to have, and especially if you're trying to finish off a team. If there are only 2 or 3 enemies alive, multiple enemies are going to get hit with more than one of those Magma Cubes if you're onto the second charge, and it is very difficult for anybody to survive that. Definitely a great hero. And then Lodius is probably my next favorite. I love Lodius. Great sniper, hard hitter with the Moonrise Strike, dealing up to 2200 damage, deals 40% more damage if the target is holy, and if the target is defeated by the attack, then nearby enemies are unable to gain any mana for 3 turns. All allies counterattack with 60% of the damage received for 3 turns on top of all that. He is a great hero, and he's good to use against Nautica or Hathor or any of those other heroes that give instant mana, because he has a passive that reduces the amount of mana increased by special skills by 80%. The effect applies to all enemies in the battle. So all owls have this passive. Very, very useful passive. As far as 4-star heroes that I've got leveled up, I've got Bold Tusk with his Toon costume, double limit broken. I've got Colin with all the costumes also, but I use the elemental defense down version in events all the time. I actually have 2 of him leveled up. I've got 1 single limit broken and 1 double limit broken, as you can see here. I've got Khalil, Cillian, Buster. I use Buster all the time. I actually added Masterclass emblems on him because he's that useful. I've got Wilbur. I've got Star Swift. Actually, I've got 2 Star Swifts, double limit broken. Fun fact, the fire element is the only color that I have a hero maxed twice, and I have 3 of them between Star Swift, Colin, and Pepperflake. I've also got Bagreg. I am just finishing up Aslar. I just finished up his main version. I just have to finish up the rest of the costumes here, and I'll have him maxed. I'm going to be working on Salimata probably next. I recently pulled them. They seem like a really, really good hero to have, and I just ranked them number 3 on my top 10 fire heroes. So definitely excited to get her done. So that is my roster. Let me know what you all think. And if you would like me to do a video like this every 3 or 4 months, let me know in the comments. But that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it or found it helpful. And if you did, hit that like button. Make sure you're subbed to my channel, and I'll catch you guys next time.